Hi guys, very good afternoon to you. And so this is going to be the video number 161, and in this video I'm going to actually help one of my subscribers, and he has written this question. Let me take you there. Santosh has written me, hi Ajay, I have a basic question for you. What is an argument? What is the difference between by value and by ref in VBA? In the recent interview, I faced this question and I did not answer. Can you explain in detail? All right. So, Santosh, first of all, I'm so sorry. I couldn't actually have this video, recorded before you went for the interview. But next time, all the best. And there we go. I'll try to explain you what exactly Santosh is asking. He's asking the difference between by ref and by value. And this is one of the very complex topic in VBA. Even in my trainings, which I take, students ask me this question a lot. What is the difference between by ref and by val? And if you Google it, then you would not see much of the really in-depth detail. I mean, everybody is there, have explained the concept, but honestly, I didn't find any practical example. I even tried on the YouTube long time back, but there was no as such the real time, the real kind of a example. And I think I'll explain you this, but you know what? Neither I've actually found it any good example on the internet, but nor I actually have myself used this kind of a technology while preparing the codes. Right now, I have done a lot of VBA work. Actually, I have prepared a lot of projects for so many years, but I really didn't use it, to be very honest with you. Right? But yes, in interviews, I know they ask you. And I remember this because in my training last month, one of guys, he asked me this thing because he was applying for some IGP, and there he got stuck with this, right? So today I'm going to explain you, and I'm going to explain to my all the lovely subscribers there and all those who are watching this video for the first time, right? My name is Ajay, and this is going to be the video number 161. In case if you're looking for more videos, you can subscribe to my channel, YouTube channel, or maybe you can go to my website, and my website name is excelvblover.com. Here you can find my all the Excel training content which I provide, and along with that you can also go to the Excel video, and similarly VBA training course, and video tutorials. So there are 161 videos available there. As per you can see here, we have all these videos. You just click on them and you can watch them, or maybe you can click on the YouTube icon once you click on these videos. For example, if I click on this, then it will take you to my this video, and once you start playing it, you will have the icon of the YouTube on this bottom right side, the bottom corner, right? And you can, if you click on that YouTube, then obviously this Explorer will take you to the YouTube, and from there you can even download the video by using the YTD software, which comes free. YTD YouTube downloader software, right? And you can watch it again and again. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's try to help Santosh. So the first thing he's asked me that what is called the argument. Okay, so see, argument is nothing but it's just the the parameters which you actually pass in into function or a sub, right? Now let me tell you, for example, when you use the VLOOKUP, these are called the arguments. These are called the parameters. In other words, you can also, I call them like parameters, but they are called the arguments. So argument is nothing but just a kind of a variable which you are going to pass in according to the situation, according to the scenario, right? Generally functions use all these arguments, because function, when we use like as I said, VLOOKUP, or maybe you can use any other function, let's say mid, they have these parameters, right? So subroutines, macros, they don't really require it, but yes, they can be used. You can use the arguments, you can use the parameters in subroutines as well. So let's quickly go to the Visual Basic environment, and here I have created this module. This module is there, otherwise you can simply click on this module and this module will be created. So here let's understand what exactly do we mean by this by ref and by val, right? Okay, so I'm going to create here three simple subroutines. Sub A. Now if you don't know anything about the VBA, then please, I would say that you can stick to this video, and you can try to understand the concept, but it is going to be a little hard. to understand, but at least you can watch this video and you can see the power of actually the programming, right? And for those who already know the VBA, this is going to be a very good example, right? So now I have created 3 subs, right? 3 macros, 3 procedures, whatever you want to call it. Now what we want to do is, now I'm not sure whether you know this or not, but I'm telling you, whenever you record any macro or whenever you write any macro, you simply execute it by using the F5 command or by F8, but you can also pass in the parameters in these brackets. Like generally we do it in the functions, and just in case if you don't know what I'm actually trying to say, then you can do one thing. You can go to my website or maybe on my channel also, look at all these videos. These are the function video, all the functions which we have created in the VBA. They are not the Excel functions, right? So they are like, I think 1 2 3 4 8 9 videos, very long videos, and it will make a sense. So but not always functions, sometimes we also use subroutines for these parameters. So what I'm going to do here is, now let me give you a very basic example on this. So let's say I'm going to declare here I as integer and j as integer. When you write something like this, then that means that this sub will expect some values, okay, and those values are supposed to be integer. You can't pass in the those string values, otherwise it will throw the error. So what I'm saying is, I'm going to give, let's say, this I equals to, let's say, 10 and j equals to 20, okay. And then what we are going to do, we are going to call this another sub which is C, as you can see here, and with having these values. This is how you write, okay. And then here what I'm going to do, I'm going to sum them I and j. So I have to declare k as well because it's a new variable. So in this subroutine called C, what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare here one more variable as I as integer, okay, and the another one is n as integer, because I have the 2 variables there. So what we are trying to do is, whatever the values we have in this sub, like I and j, 10 and 20, they will be passed on to this sub. So automatically, the values will get transferred here to m and n, and then we would like to use them. So what I will do is, I will say that m equals to let's say 2. I'm going to change the values here, and n equals to, let's say, 4, okay. And that's it, I guess. Or maybe you can further here also, you can declare some variable, let's say h equals to m plus 2, m plus n, and we'll declare the variable h as integer, okay. Now if I press here F8, you see I'm not able to execute the code, because you can't run the subs where you have these parameters. You can't call them, right? So to call them, you need another sub without any parameters, without any arguments. So we'll write simple, that's why I've written this sub A, and from here I will call this B. Now if you're going to call this B from A by pressing F8, what will happen? Look at this. Now that's the answer to your first question, Santosh. Argument not optional. You asked me what is called the argument, right? If I take you back to that the question, what you have asked me, you have written here, I have a basic question, what is an argument? Okay, this one. So what is an argument means that where is the parameter? Where is the parameter you want to pass in, right? Now you see I'm trying to call B, but the call B means that it's another sub, it's another macro, so that macro requires 2 values from you. It's mandatory for you, right? Because you're calling a macro, you're calling a sub with having 2 parameters, or you can say 2 arguments. So I'm going to write here 2 things. One is 0 and 0. Let's say I don't want to pass in anything, let it be 0 and 0. Now the moment you write F8, your macro will start working. It is not going to give you that error, argument required, right? Okay, so now look at this. Now once you call this, now what will happen, this I will have a value called 0 and j is going to have a value 0, because this is what you have passed in here, 0 and 0, okay. But now the moment this line executes, I will have now value 10 and j as 10. Now the moment you execute this line, this I and this j, 10 and 20 is going to be passed on to this m and n. So the moment now you hover this mouse on the 10 and m and n, you'll see that those values are actually taken from this sub. So I and j directly passed on to m and n, right? Okay, now we got the m and n, but the thing is, when you execute this line, now m will actually again change to 2. Okay, it is no more now 10. And similarly, as you can see here, n is still 20 because n has taken the value from j, which is this. But the moment you execute this line, we know that, you know, it's very simple as of now. N will have the value, you know, 4. It is going to be changed. Now, obviously, h will have now 4 plus 2, which is called 6. Now look at this. The moment this code runs and it goes back to this procedure, which is called your B, what is the value for I and j? Do you see that? Now that's the important point which you need to note, which everybody, each of you, you know, watching this video need to understand this. When I started it, I had the value 10 and j had the value 20, sorry. But now the I is changed to 2 and j is changed to 4. Why? Because the moment the code ran, this sub procedure C, you know, it ran, those values of I and j being overtaken, superseded by these m and n, and the value for m was 2 and the value for n was 4. So eventually what happened in the k, again when it, you know, went back to that code, those I and j were not the original ones, they had the new values. Now why it happened? It happened because by default the technology, the VBA, which, you know, the concept we use is, it's called the Byref. Byref means by reference. Okay, now if I write here Byref like this, Byref, if I write it or if I don't write it, one and the same thing for VBA. Okay, now let's see if I run this code again, started from here. Now look at this I value, it's 0, it's 10. Now look at the value of this I, it's 10 and it's 20 now because these two lines are executed. The moment it goes here, this I will be passed on to this m, and then m will have 10, and, you know, j is going to be giving the value to n. So m and n will have the value called 10 and 20, as you can see here, 10 and 20. But when it runs m equals to 2 and n equals to 4, then what will happen? This m will be changed to 2 and this n will be changed to 4 for from 20, right? So here h equals to m plus 1 will make it 6, and the moment it goes back, then now I and j are also having the same values, the previous values, you know, which are taken from this macro C. So you write it by ref or you don't write it, that's one of the same thing. We don't write it by ref, we don't do that because by default it is always going to be considered as by ref. But if you change this to by val, which means by value, now let's run this code and it's gonna make, you know, a lot of sense. So run this. Now as of now we know I is 10 and j is 20. Now it's going to call this. Now you look at this value is 10, is 20. I'm going to run this. Now again, let's just hover on it. It says 2 and this n says 4, which is correct, right? But the point is, now if you see the value of the h, it's again 2 plus 4, which is correct. But the moment it goes back to its original stuff from where it was called, now look, C is a called procedure, right? And B is the one from where it was called actually. So B is the original one, right? So it is going to go back to its the next line after the call. And this time, if you look at the I value, it is still 10. Now this time the I value is not changed to 2 and this j is not changed to 4, which was happening in the previous case. Why? Because what you said is, you said that I'm going to stick to the by val only. So that means whatever the values we will have in this code, right, the moment this code, this procedure will run, it is going to complete, and the moment, you know, I'm going to be back on my original subroutine from where, you know, this was called, the values should be restored. So that's why you see you have an answer of k as 10 plus 20. Okay, so this is what exactly it means by the by val and by ref. By ref means that whenever you are passing your arguments from one macro to the another macro, those values will always be used. The new values will be used, right? Even if you come back to your original macro from where, you know, the another macros are actually being called. But if you use the by val, then what will happen? It will be used only for that particular called macro procedure, or you can say sub procedure, right? But the moment it comes back to its original position, to its original macro, yes, it is going to stick to the all the previous values from where actually it has started, right? Now, as I said earlier also, I never use this, I see, if you know me through my videos, guys, then what I'm saying is going to make a lot of sense. My all videos are actually very practical videos. I've always talked about something very practical, which you can use in your office, which you can use, in any of your project. But this thing, I have never used it. I never found it actually. I was never in a situation where I couldn't write something, based on what I know actually. So I never felt the need of this, but you should know it, because if you want to be a programmer, you should know A to Z of everything. Now this is just a very basic example. I can tell you what you can do is you can prepare a kind of a very practical code also. Now that does not mean that the code which I'm talking about right now is which we are going to build now, that can be built only with this example, having these the parameters in the subs. It can be prepared otherwise also, but just to explain you, maybe we can go to the module 2. So what we will do is we're going to click somewhere here, and then what will happen, a pop-up will come, and a person is going to write the sheet name, like in this case you have a sheet called A, right? And let me add some more sheets here. So let's say you have 3 sheets, or maybe you can have 15 sheets as well. So in that pop-up you write the sheet name, and then what will happen, a sheet will be created after that particular sheet, and then thereafter, once the sheet is created, we will name that sheet using this the sheet, which the text which you are going to enter in that pop-up box, the message, the input box, and then afterwards, once the sheet is created, then it will go back to its the original sheet, and it is going to actually save that sheet with a different name in the D drive. So what I'm saying is the pop-up should come, and the user will write here A and press enter, and then the macro will create a sheet A after this sheet, and it will name it as A and today date, whatever the date we have. Like today is the date is it's, I think, sorry, I just don't know the date. It's 2nd of March actually. I'm so sorry. So 2nd of March is the date. So the sheet, the kind of this, the code should create us A, and then 2nd of March, and then it goes back to the sheet A, and then export this sheet in the D drive with having some different name. That's what we want to do. But we will actually use this kind of a concept. We will pass on some values to the arguments, and we'll use this calling method. So there we go. Let's quickly write it down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call a simple macro, which I will just write calling method. Okay, and now in this macro, what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply call another macro, which is, let's say, original macro. Okay, and here I'm going to create that original macro. Okay, so here we'll write 2 things, I as string, because the name is going to be in the string, and or maybe I think that's it. We don't need 2 arguments. We just need the 1 argument in this, and this A will be used in the form of the input box. So, or maybe I can declare it as I. Okay, or maybe you can declare it as sheet underscore name as well. That makes sense. Okay, it's a relevant keyword, relevant word actually, not a keyword, sorry. Keywords are always for the VBA, and then the VBA specific words which VBA use, like sub, enter, we call them keywords. You can't use them. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the sheet underscore name variable is going to be equals to my input box, and I'll write here please enter the sheet name. Okay, after which you want to create the sheet. Alright, so this is what we have written so far, and input box, sorry, this should be input box. Okay, so once you've created that, what would you like to do? You would like to use this in the another, so I will say that second macro. Okay, so in the second macro, this sheet name should go. This is what I'm trying to tell you. These are the arguments. Argument means these are the parameters, right? You call them parameters, you call arguments, that's fine. Okay, so here I'm going to write one more sub, and it is going to be my second macro. as you know, and so we are going to actually use this. So in this, what I'm going to do is new sheet. Okay, new, let's say, sheet as string. So we'll have this value in this sheet, and then what we need to do is we are going to give this new sheet value, whatever the value it should take from this second macro, from the variable sheet underscore name, it should prefix the today date. So I'm going to write here and I'm going to write this. This is how you, this is the date function, and the date function is going to give us the date, today's date, and we are going to write, we are going to format it. Why I'm not directly using the date, because you know date comes in the slash. Okay, like if I enter the date function, then it's going to give me 3/2/2016, and you can't use the backslash in the any of the file name. So that's why I converted into hyphen. Now once you do that, then what you would like to do? Then I would like to create the sheet. This is how you write the sheet code, right? So after equals to, I want to create this after my this new sheet. Okay, new sheet, and you need to write here worksheets. This is going to create the sheet after my new sheet, and this line we will use then afterwards. Once the sheet is created, then we're going to have this value, and then the active sheet we are going to name as new sheet. All right. Okay. So once this code is through, then it comes back to the original macro, and from there what we would like to do is we would like to select the current sheet which user has selected. Okay, and we are going to copy the entire cell, all the sheet, and we are going to copy it. This is how you write selection.copy. Okay, and then workbook, a new work file is going to be added, and in that the sheets one, I'm going to paste this active sheet dot paste special, and or maybe I think paste would do. Let's see. And then that active workbook, we are going to save it. This is how you write the save as. Okay, and the file name is going to be D drive, and I'm going to write here test, or maybe I'm going to write here Ajay dot, that's my name, XLSX, right? All right, I think that's fine now. And then active work should also be closed. This is what we would like to do. Okay, so this is the code. Let's see if we are through with this code. If we don't have any error, then that's good. Otherwise we'll see. Okay, and so yeah, so this is what, and let me write it something here. Let's say this is the data. All right, so now I'm gonna run this. Now you can't run this from here, F8. I'm trying to press F8, but I can't run it. If I try to press F5, I can't run it. Look, this will ask me the pop-up. Generally the pop-up never comes, right? This pop-up always comes when you are outside your sub, but I'm within the sub, but it's still asking me. Why? Because I told you your macro, this sub has arguments, this sub has parameters, so you can't directly call from here. So you have to call from here. Now the moment I call from here, again I get the same error, argument not optional, because original macro can't be called with other arguments, right? So we're gonna name it. I'm gonna write any name. Let's say dummy. Obviously this is not going to be used, but we'll just write it. So what will happen? Finally I got the original macro. Now in the original macro, you see I have a dummy sheet name which does not exist. I know, but that's fine, because in the very next sheet I will have the pop-up. Now in this pop-up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the sheet name A, because after this sheet I want to create a new sheet, right? This is what actually I want to do. So let me press OK. Now it's going to call this. Now you see sheet name is now, it's no more dummy, it's actually sheet name A. So it goes to the second macro, and now this new sheet will take this value from this sheet name, right? So they will act like now as friends, neighbors, right? So it's going to take this value from this sheet name. Okay, now what will happen after this? This will add the sheet after this worksheet called A. So pay attention here. The moment I run this code, look at this. sheet 8 is created, a new sheet is created, right? So now this is another thing which I have written here, the variable new sheet. It is going to be equals to my new sheet, which is my A, and the date is 2nd of March, and it is going to be changed to, you see, these slashes I don't need it because then I will not be able to save the file. So I'm going to change this to the hyphen, right? I'm not going to actually, if I try to do this, if I don't write this format word, if I don't write this function, you know, and I just simply say new underscore sheet and concatenate it with the date, then what will happen? It will try to concatenate this with slash, but in my next line where I'm saying that active sheet name should be equals to this name, you know, you can see here it has concatenated. That will not happen because in sheet names you can't use the backslash. Okay, so now once we have got the sheet, we have got the sheet back, right? Now I'm going to you know, press again F8, and now you see I'm back on my original macro. But if I look at here, you see now sheet underscore name has taken the value by ref, because we have used the by ref. We have not anywhere written the by ref, so that's why, you know, it has taken the value of the sheet name. So why? Because this new sheet, the parameter, this is now, this has this value, we have changed it, right? So obviously now sheet name will use this. So eventually what will happen, this will, you know, copy this code, this copy, you see that this is copied, and now a new workbook is added. You can see the title box is new workbook, this is a book 3, and it's going to paste everything here. Now since, you know, it is not actually, it does not have anything, so that's why you are not able to see it. But let me just restore this, maybe if you're not able to see this workbook, I'm not sure. So yeah, there you go. Now this is the book 3, right? And I'm going to run this code again. So this is going to be saved as Ajay. You can see here the name is changed, it is saved in the D drive, and this active book will be closed now, and I'm back on my original code, which is this one, book 1. Okay, so I can quickly take you to the D drive, and let's see whether it has saved the file or we don't have the file. So let me see where it is. Let me click on the date modified. Yeah, there you go. It's created at on this March, and the video name is ajay.xlsx, right? So this is how I created. Now let's understand this again. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to ByVal. Okay, now let's see what will happen. So we are going to run this code. Let me increase the height, and I really apologize if you're hearing some noise in the background. Actually there's some construction work going on, and I unfortunately I really can't go and, you know, stop these guys, so please bear with me for this, right? Okay, so I'm going to create this, I'm going to press this F8 again. So now this macro is going to be called, as you know, sheet name will have dummy, and then this pop-up will come input box. We use it for the user input. So I'm going to write here, let's say I'm going to write here this time B. Okay, so I'm going to write here B, and or maybe let's do one thing. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep the same thing. Let me just delete this because we need to create it again. So I'm on the A sheet, and now I'm going to run this. Okay, there we go. Sheet name is A, and now I'm going to press F8. Now you see that sheet name, this A will be, you know, this is passed to this new variable, new argument, which is called the new underscore sheet, and now the new underscore sheet also has the same value the moment I press F8. So this A, now the sheet will be added after this sheet A. As you can see, last time also we saw this, and now this new sheet is this, the name is going to be A and the today date. But now look at this. Now what is the difference? Now the next time when this code will go back to its original code, which is this original macro, you know, this time it is not going to be A02-03-2016. It's going to have the same value, right? So that's the difference between ByVal and ByRef. So this time what will happen? Your sheet A will be selected. If you remember the last time, or you can, you know, rewind the video and you can see here what happened. So that time this sheet was selected and this sheet was saved in the D drive. But this time what will happen is going to copy this data. You can see here the data is copied. I'm going to add a new workbook, and in the new workbook this data is added, and now this book 4 is going to be saved. Now we already saved this file in the previous code, so that's why it's asking for the already exist or not. So you can press yes or no, whatever. I really it's not the actually the objective of this video. I wanted to actually tell you about the Byref and ByVal, and then the active of Google be closed, and that's it. There you go. So this is actually the difference between ByVal and Byref. Byref simply means taking the reference. So every time the reference will be changed, your arguments, your parameters will be changed. But ByVal will always ensure that the moment it is working in the called subroutine, it will use that value. But if there's some changes in that value and it's going back to its original macro, then that value will not be taken there. It is not going to be carry forwarded, right? So this is the difference between ByVal and Byref, and as I already explained, that arguments are actually called the parameters which you provide, right? I guess I hope that I was able to explain you, and next time when you go there, you not only just crack the interview, but you also tell them, give them the more examples also, kind of this example, or maybe you can think now from this, can make this space, and you can try to develop some more examples. Anytime you need me, please let me know, and I will be ready for the new video for you, right? For each of you. So guys, that's it for now, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that, and watch my all videos. They are all the practical videos, and I try to help you out through these videos. That's only the the ambition to make you simply awesome in Excel and VBA, and of course MS Access and MS Access VBA. All right, thank you so much, and stay well, and wish you very, very good learning. Bye bye.